Hello and welcome to Daily Red, your late afternoon catch up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder. The Reds are top of the league and tomorrow night beginning their Champions League campaign at home to Atletico Madrid. Now, Arne Slot has had his press conference and he has hinted that Alexander Isak could be in a position to start tomorrow night. Still think that's probably unlikely. Still think he probably starts Hugo and then maybe brings Isak on 70 and does the same against Everton at the weekend. And then perhaps next midweek when we play Southampton in the League Cup, maybe he starts that one and gets 60, 65 minutes, 45 maybe, depending on where his fitness is. I do think there's going to be some changes. I think we'll see Andy Robertson come in at left back. I think we'll see a change at right back. It wouldn't surprise me massively if Joe Gomez started or if Ibu starts, if Mamardashvili starts. Speaking of Ibu replying to Anfield Index yesterday and commenting on a video of David Lynch talking about the quality of Ibu. He also responded to a couple of other accounts and pointed out that Liverpool fans have quite short memories and have forgotten just how, or seem to have forgotten just how good he can be because he had two poor games to start the season. But this is the modern fan, overly reactive, over-egg a good performance, overslate a bad performance. You know, we saw it through last season. Someone would have a 7 out of 10 performance. It would be overhyped. Someone would have a 6 out of 10 performance when maybe they were expected to do better. And they would be slaughtered for it. João Quansah obviously been a prime example. The previous season, Quansah could do no wrong. And his 7 out of 10 performances were being hyped as 9 out of 10s. Same with Conor Bradley at that time. We've seen it with Besetic. We've seen it many times. But we also see it when players struggle. Players who are among our best players, when they struggle, it does tend to get over-egged. And we saw it at the weekend as well. Alexis McAllister, like he didn't have a good game, but the idea that he was the worst player on the pitch was just nowhere close to true. He's also playing with an injury, but we expect a lot from him, so we're disappointed, and we grade players on different scales. We always do. We always have. So a player that we don't have high expectations for, when they turn in a 7 out of 10, it's talked about like it's a sublime performance, a supreme footballer, man of the match without question, when in truth, nothing of the sort. But when a player we do have high expectations for, and Trent was a prime example of this, when Trent would have a poor game, people would ask strange questions like, oh, well, what's wrong with Trent? Well, nothing. He just had a poor game. Because it happens. All players have poor games. Every one of your heroes has had a poor game at some point. Some of them have 6 months of being poor. Some of them have 2 and 3 years of being poor. But they don't get the same type of stick that Ibu got over a couple of poor performances against Bournemouth and Newcastle. Now, it's not helped when Jamie Carragher is constantly on about this, because Carragher doesn't like Konate. And he's openly said that he doesn't rate Konate. He doesn't think he's that good. Let's forget that he's the second best centre-back in the league. Jamie Carragher doesn't think he's that good. He's not a fan of him. Mindless nonsense. But then Jamie Carragher works with Gary Neville, who was the one that who started and pushed the agenda that Trent couldn't defend, even though we were watching him defend at a decent level for many years, be part of the best defence in Europe for many years, hold his own against some of the best wingers in the world. Yes, from time to time he got rinsed. That's what happens against the best wingers in the world. Every fullback is going to get rinsed at some time or other by a great winger. Did Trent's effort levels drop off? Absolutely they did. But the idea that Trent couldn't defend was never true. That's always been something that Gary Neville pushed, though. Because Gary Neville was looking at a situation where, you know, when people were talking about Kyle Walker or Gary Neville, who's the best right back in Premier League history, it was a debate. Of course, the real answer at that point was Branislav Ivanovic, who was better than both. But when Trent entered the chat, there was no debate left. Trent is just a much better player, much better right back than either Kyle Walker or Gary Neville could ever have dreamt of being. So Gary Neville had to manufacture something to hit him with. And that was this idea that Trent can't defend. We see it all the time from people in positions of influence in the football media, where they drive these narratives that just don't have any founding in reality. And Carragher's against Konate is another one of them. And when you see the type of people that bleat on the same stuff that Carragher's bleated on, go through what else they've said, and you'll find a lot of what they've said is also stuff that Carragher has said, because that's where they get their opinions from. Ibu is one of the best defenders in the world and should be treated as one and should be paid as one, quite frankly. Now, if it's true that he's asking for £200,000 a week, that's less than Gabriel just got at Arsenal. That's less than William Saliba is going to get at Arsenal. He's a better defender than either of them. He might not be as consistent as Gabriel because of the injury issues, but he's a better defender than Gabriel. And again, you'll have people like Carragher push this narrative that, it's Saliba and Gabriel, they're the best partnership. Liverpool have never had a partnership, and it just isn't true. It just isn't true. Konate and Van Dijk are the best partnership in the league. Before them, it was Van Dijk and Matip. Before that, it was Gomez and Van Dijk. Yes, Van Dijk is the consistent, but that doesn't mean the others aren't also playing at an exceptionally high level. We had a period last season where Ibu was playing every bit as well as Virgil. We had periods in the past where Joe Gomez was partnering Virgil and playing every bit as well, where Joel Matip was doing the same. That speaks to the greatness of Virgil, but it also speaks to how good those other defenders are. It speaks to how good they are. And Ibu is an absolutely immense defender. There is only one other defender that has his combination of size, power, speed, 1v1 ability, and recovery ability. Only one. And aerial dominance as well, we should add. Only one other one. And that's the fella who plays next to him. Nobody else ticks all those boxes. Yes, he's not the ball player that Virgil is. That's absolutely fine. This idea that all 11 players need to be just incredibly good with their feet simply isn't true. Simply isn't true. Look at the City team under Pep that won the treble. Ruben Diaz is very rudimentary with the ball at his feet. He's not some incredible footballer. Kyle Walker, not some incredible football player. So you don't need all your outfield players to be amazing. So the idea that Ibu's a liability on the ball simply isn't true. He's a decent ball carrier. He's a decent passer. Yes, he's not Virgil. And what? If our midfield were better at progressing the ball through that central area, it wouldn't be an issue. Because it wasn't an issue when Trent was there. Because Trent could hold the line for the midfield. Prior to that, obviously, we had Thiago, Fabinho, both of them excellent at central progression. We've lost Trent. We don't have that in midfield anymore. Alexis and Gravenberch are both better as secondary receivers, receiving a bit higher up on the half turn to shift into space in between the lines. That's where they thrive. But their game does not lend itself to dropping in, taking the ball off the centre-backs and moving it quickly through the lines. Just doesn't. That's what we need to address, not Konate. What we need to do with Konate is give him what he wants, because he's earned it. Now, yes, you can point at, he needs to prove he can stay fit. We've heard this argument against a couple of players over the years, and Daniel Sturridge is always the one that comes to mind. And you'd hear stories from certain people who claimed to have heard this from somebody else that, he picks and chooses when he wants to play, and he won't play if he doesn't feel 100% right, and all this kind of stuff. And yet, It was never an issue when certain other players were always injured. Never. They'd just be unlucky. But these other fellas need to prove it. That's always wound me up. Always wound me up if these lads are treated in this way. Ibrahima Konate is one of the best defenders in the world. Give him what he wants. Now, if he does leave, it will be a massive blow for us. An absolutely massive blow, because you're just not replacing him with somebody who's immediately of the same caliber. However, we are in a situation where we do have the best recruitment team in the world. So you would bank on them being able to go and find someone that can develop into a Ibu level centre back. The problem is, are they going to get there while we still have Van Dijk in his, at this level? This is one of the reasons that I think, even if you think the contract is a little bit of an overpay, I think it's worth giving Ibu a little bit more than maybe you would have wanted to ensure that you're maximizing those final years of Virgil, because you're not going to get another Virgil. You're just not. You might get another Mo, not to the same level of goals, but in terms of elite, genuinely elite production from that wing spot. Michael Olise has the potential to be a 20-goal, 20-assist type of player. So while he might not get, say, 30 and 10 like Mo has in multiple seasons, he could get 20 and 20, he could get 25 and 20, because he is that good as well. No, not immediately. This would be more when he's 26, 27, but, he can get to that point. There's not anybody who's going to do for you what Virgil has done, because in the history of the game, there's never been anybody as complete as him. So, Ibu's right. People have forgotten. And Ibu, on behalf of Anfield Index, you are welcome for David Lynch's kind words.
Right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.